Hello, and welcome to Basements, Faults, and Catapults. I'm one of your hosts, Saren.
And I'm Trevor.
And here we're going to be looking at games, genres, and the things that we enjoy in gaming.
And to do that, we're going to randomly select a genre each episode.
Yeah, we'll give you a brief rundown of that genre.
That's when we'll select two games. One of these games will be something we want to catapult into glory, while the other will be cast into the fault lines, riddling our basement lair. The catch and what we hope will be the fun part is that neither of us will have played, or at least played heavily, the game the other has selected.
Yeah, so we're going to take those titles, the best, the worst. We'll divide them up. We're going to give them about an hour of playtime. We're going to come back here, and we're going to chat about what we experienced.
That's where we'll give our own opinions of the other's game, celebrate where we agree, and refrain from murdering each other where we disagree. After all, not everyone can have a perfect opinion.
And that's it. We hope that you'll join us, listen in, maybe be inspired to try a few titles along the way, or, let us know exactly why our opinions are trash.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, if it ain't fixed, don't broke it.
Darn tootin'.
Darn tootin'.
Darn tootin'. Anyway, welcome to our, what is this, the 30...
Episode number 38, probably
38.
airing around March 1st.
Yeah.
Or so.
So, that's wild, right? So if it's March 1st, you're hopefully the Valentine's treated you guys okay.
Yeah, hopefully you gave someone a card that said, "Be my Valentine."
And hopefully you got a card back.
Yes.
Or,
yes.
You hit the shopping mart like I am going to on February 15th and just buy everything at half price and gorge yourself on discount chocolate while crying alone in the shower.
Ah, yes, crying alone in the shower. Very important. Very important. So I feel like it's March, so that means it's probably warming up. It's probably getting almost like going outside time.
Yeah.
Which we don't do because we like to sit out in the basement and play games. Yes,
yeah.
We only know the basement.
Yeah, and there's a window there.
There's a window, but all we can see is the metal guard.
Yeah, the corrugated thing.
Yeah, the corrugated metal.
Yeah.
So we actually don't see anything outside of the basement.
I've heard of this thing called grass.
I do enjoy being in the basement. It is a safe space.
And it's temperature controlled.
It is temperature controlled, although right now it is a balmy 19.7 degrees Celsius.
It's a little chill, but that's okay.
Relative humidity is 35%, which is still considered comfortable and not wet.
On that note, I just hate going to sleep in a dry room.
Oh yeah, we got a humidifier, and it changed our life. I don't snore at all anymore.
Yeah, humidifiers are huge.
Yeah.
Like, I have a massive fish tank in my house, so I don't need a humidifier.
Oh. God, I would love to have a fish tank again.
Yeah.
I miss having a fish tank.
It's work. You gotta, not just the feeding and the cleaning, but also, fish get sick. And, it's not pretty. I have this one goldfish, and it had a weird tumor growing on its back.
Oh, no.
And then the tumor erupted. And now, you can look right down into this fish, and, you can see the bones.
Oh, gross.
But the fish is still swimming and eating, and it's not getting picked on or predated on by the other fish in the tank.
Probably means you don't have any bad bacteria in the water. Otherwise, it would get sick.
Yeah. And I'm thinking okay, is this what's up? Because I gave it the little methyladine treatment, and then I put salt in the wound, but you can't do much.
The problem I always run into when I had fish tanks, and I will someday have another one again. Probably with something a little more challenging, like saltwater or exotic or something.
No,
but
every time I think about saltwater fish, I'm reminded that it's work.
But I used to have mollies and guppies and swordtails and all these little guys, right? But my problem was always that every time I'd go downstairs, all I'd hear is because they were so bloody inbred. So I would buy 15 or 20 of these things and put them in the tank, and over the course of several years, they would just kind of keep breeding and breeding and breeding and breeding. And, I would fail to introduce new genetics into the gene pool. And next thing you know, all their spines are crooked and they're all spinning, swimming in circles. And, they're born with extra fins, and things are just not cool. And I'm going, the water quality is great. I'm great at maintaining good water quality in my tanks. But then I'm like, oh yeah, shoot, I need new genetics. So then you go to the pet store and you buy a fish and you're like, so these fish are actually from the same breeder that I originally bought my fish from, and they're all inbred too.
Yeah.
So,
Oops.
Yeah, I don't know how do you maintaining a diverse gene pool in your fish tank? Very challenging.
Yeah. I not gonna lie, I've never really run into the problem because I've never gotten like a breeding pair.
Okay, they all just like die off at some point.
Well, I don't.
Oh, you just get a goldfish or something.
Who can tell what breed the fish are?
Oh, guppies and mollies and swords, very easy. Swords, the males are the only ones that get a sword. They're the only ones that get the extension on their tail. And guppies and mollies, they have what's called, it's basically like an anal fin. And it's just like an extra fin that is near the backside of their body, and that indicates male or female. It's actually quite easy to tell.
Oh, see, I have silver dollars. I have.
I don't think I know how to tell on those.
I have a comet tail.
Did you check the undercarriage?
You check the under. It's a fish. They don't have undercarriage. They have a cloaca.
Right.
So yeah, I have a neon tetras.
Oh, those are cool.
I have regular tetras. I have. Who else is in that? I have one angelfish in there.
Oh, cool.
And I have one ogami.
Oh, nice.
And the reason I only have one of those is because if there's two of them, they get very territorial and they'll fight each other.
Every neon tetra I've ever owned like sprouts mold and turns into just a moldy dead fish.
Wow.
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of luck with neon tetras.
I'm sorry to hear that. Mine are doing great.
That's lovely. Neon tetras actually are, I believe that you can breed them, but they need a certain level of like current.
Well, the thing about a neon tetra especially is they're very much we made them, because the way the scaling works,
Yeah.
it reflects light, and it's really cool if you have a light in your fish tank. And while the standard neon tetra you can find, I believe in Brazil somewhere, the new ones is. They're just outrageous.
Yeah. Well, speaking of fish tanks, there are plenty of video games that offer pet ownership, video games, taking care of fish.
What was the one that everyone played? Fish Tank Simulator. It was a flash game. You clicked on the fish and the food, and you made money.
And then if you overfed them, they died.
Yeah, Insane Aquarium.
Yes, Insane Aquarium. That was a good time. I don't know if we have like fish tank simulators available. There's like VR fish tank. Oh, cool.
A VR fish tank would be neat, yeah.
Oh, it looks like trash.
Oh, it does look like trash. Boo.
What about what else do we have here? Fish tank. There's one called We Love Fish Tanks. Planned release date 2025.
Well, that looks like trash.
It is a pixely. Oh my gosh, this looks like a game built in the 1990s.
I was about to say, is this on Newgrounds?
But look, they've got an axolotl.
Axolotls are extremely predatory. They would eat everything in your fish tank.
They just eat everything in the fish tank. I mean, hey, you know what? I think there's only so much traction you're gonna get with a fish tank simulator.
I guess, and as far as learning how to code certain things, like a fish tank simulator is not a bad first option. I get it.
Yeah.
At the same time, woof.
Yeah. There's a game called Fix My Cat, Doc.
Oh.
Which is it looks like it's some kind of a veterinarian simulator. It's $180.
There's a game called Megaquarium.
Megaquarium. All right, so let's check that out. Megaquarium.
MEG Aquarium.
I found one called Aquarium, but that's a dating sim. So,
I was about to say that looks like one of the Forbidden No games.
No. It's got no bad tags. It's rated very positive, but yeah, it looks like a dating sim.
Megaquarium is
there. It is Megaquarium.
Mega Aquarium.
Oh, it looks like a theme park.
Yeah.
Kind of aquarium thing.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna add that to my follow list and never buy it.
Never buy it.
It's kind of cool though. I like that. Have you ever been to Big Al's?
Have I ever?
I mean, Big Al's, and we're not talking South Park like Big Al.
Yeah, we're talking Big Al's. It's a local fish specialty store here in the city. I think it's a franchise. I'm not too sure about that.
I'm not sure, but I know Big Al's is one of my favorite.
They used to have shark feeding.
They used to have the shark feeding, and they at the back of the store they have their tiger shark tank.
Yeah.
And they always have a lot of really cool stuff. I've seen them have chameleons in there and other lizards.
Yeah,
And
they like Big Al's is where you go if you're serious about dropping money.
yeah, if you got money, Big Al's where you go. They got like the 300-gallon fish tanks with the nice stands.
They got fish.
They got all the top-notch stuff. They've got like so if you're really like cheap, you buy the Fluval filters.
Yeah.
The Fluval water pumps. But if you're really like into spending some money, what do they got? What's the brand? Starts with an E-Ibach or something like that. I mean, back when I was into it, Fluvals were kind of like the go-to. They're very. I found quality issues with them. Like the gasket would just give out one day and it would just leak all over the place. Eheim. That's the one. The Eheim pumps.
My store is Aquarium Central.
Aquarium Central. Okay,
that's
cool.
where I go to.
Well, if you're in Edmonton, check out Big Al's.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, Big Al's is like that's the this store is so cool. But Aquarium Central is like where I actually go to buy stuff because it's reasonably priced and the owner's a little off, but
you know
who isn't?
You got to be a little off to run your own business.
Yeah, especially a fish store.
And you're definitely got to be a little off to run a podcast.
Oh, boy.
So make aquarium. So it seems like we're kind of itching for like a casual,
comfy casual,
like a simulation building sandbox game.
Comfy casual.
Yeah.
I mean,
I kind of just want to play Make Aquarium now.
Well, you're in charge of the role. Maybe it lands. Yeah. No, I will not compromise the integrity of our genre selector. I refuse. How dare you? Damn you, valuable. On that note, I am rolling 2 d20s.
Do it.
And we are 4 and 17. That's 21. Quick math. And I do that now because we have like an auto, like
21.
He doesn't have to like click.
I just click roll.
Yeah.
Oh no!
What?
Oh no! What? Okay, we've landed on 0 hour Steam time.
No!
So, for those of you not in the know, when we land on 0 hour Steam time, it means we have to play a game that we've bought, but we've never played. Probably for good reason.
I know I have some. It's just like, I don't want to play it anymore.
I know, right? Well, that's the thing. We buy all these games and we never play them.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's good in the sense that, okay, you're actually playing a game you bought. Like, cool. But like, oh no.
I know. The last time we did 0 hour Steam time was on episode 12.
It's been a minute.
Yes.
Okay. Question for the judge.
Yes.
Does it have to be on Steam? Because I do have some 0 hour games on Good Old Games that I actually
as long as you've
play.
never played them before.
Oh, unfortunately, I have played.
I feel like, or very, very little. Very, very little. So like, we don't want to go back and play a nostalgic game.
Yeah, well, I just bought Dino Crisis on Good Old Games.
Dino Crisis, cool.
I've played the.
Didn't they have like a Dino Crisis arcade game?
No, you're thinking of the one where like you shoot at the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
and it's like one of those light gun games.
Yeah.
No, that's not.
Dino Crisis is like, let me guess, it's like a JRPG.
No, Dino Crisis is actually more like a.
Oh yeah, it's got
Resident Evil.
It's got like the Resident Evil style. Yeah,
well,
I got
it's
you.
It's even got like the tank controls and stuff.
Survival. Oh, it's a survival horror, so it is very Resident Evil.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really good.
I'm gonna make a knockoff called Residential Evil.
Residential Evil.
Yeah, it's just like people violating their bylaws in their community.
It's called the myhouse.wad, and it is a Doom mod.
Oh, cool.
And it is so scary. Okay, what am I doing here? I need to.
We gotta find games we've never played.
Wait,
so we gotta
do that again.
So you gotta go to your library.
Yeah.
Sort by hours played. And then you scroll all the way to the bottom. Now, last time we played Volcanoids. Prior to that, you played Ware Cleaner.
I did play,
which was casual.
I had fun.
Yeah, and that was a good game.
Yeah.
Blacksmith Simulator Prologue. So I think good game, bad game doesn't really apply here. It's kind of roll of the dice, really.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. How do I get this sort by hours played?
I'll come help you out. Zombie.
Oh, look at that. Okay, there we are.
There you go.
Titanfall 2's a lie. I just played it mostly on a different system.
So I feel kind of like Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was kind of fun.
Oh, I never have I ever played Star Ocean: The Second Story. I picked it up and I wanted to play it. It's a JRPG, but I never did.
Okay. I've also got Yakuza Like a Dragon, which I bought.
Oh,
I paid full price for that darn game, and I've never played it.
it's primo.
The thing is,
That's a lie. I've played.
I've also got this weird game called Trover Saves the Universe.
Oh.
I think I want to try this game out. It looks so freaking weird. I bought it because Trover sounds like Trevor. I mean, that's
really that was your logic.
I literally was like, sure, why not? It's close enough. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna try Trover Saves the Universe just because it's been in my Steam library for quite a while.
Okay. Well, on that note, I am going to play Star Ocean.
Star Ocean.
The second story.
All right. So let's I'm going to go to the store page here for Trover Saves the Universe. Game may contain content not appropriate for all ages. Blood and gore, drug references, mature humor, strong language, and violence. I'm going to love this game. So the game is described as, from Squanch Games comes Trover Saves the Universe. Your pups are missing. The cosmos is at stake. Only you and Trover can save everything in this bizarre comedy adventure. So, some reviews. I guess Business Insider said it was the best video game of 2019 so far. One of the funniest video games they've ever played in their lives.
So far! Best game!
It kind of sounds like a ripoff of, John Wick.
Oh.
Your dogs have been dognapped by a beaked lunatic named Glorcon, who stuffed them into his eye holes and is using their life essence to destroy the universe. You're partnered with Trover, a little purple eye hole monster who isn't a huge fan of working or being put in the position of having to save the universe. He's also not that big a fan of you, quite frankly, and neither am I. Just kidding, you're great. So this, okay, I had no idea what this game was about, but now I kind of think I might like it.
Kind of into it.
I might like it. Yeah, system requirements are pretty low, GeForce GTX 1060, so it should be okay.
Right.
How about your game?
My game is the highly acclaimed second installment in the Star Ocean series. The first Star Ocean I ever played was on the PS2, called End of Time. I don't remember. Anyway, so I've never gone back and played the older ones, but I've always loved the Star Ocean series. So, Space Date 366. A Federation officer finds himself transported to a mystical planet. While searching for a way home, an encounter with a young girl draws him into a quest to save her people. Just as an ancient prophecy foretold. Choose your path and witness an awakened destiny. So, it's a fairly standard JRPG. It's not breaking any boxes here, but it's got a very cool, sort of 2.5D aesthetic. So 2D pixels and 3D environments. It's a remaster of an old, I think Star Ocean came out on the PlayStation 1. So I'm very excited. It's Square Enix. They're such a storied company in terms of this sort of thing. So I can't imagine this game being bad. He said.
I believe I have one of my friends. He used to play a lot of Star Ocean. Yeah.
Well, I like the Star Ocean franchise is fairly storied. Unfortunately, like a lot of games in the modern era, they're trying things and certain things just don't work.
Well, shall we dive into these 0-hour playtime games? We're slowly dwindling down the billions of dollars people have bought and never played.
Right, I'm here for it. As always, good luck.
Yeah, have fun. We'll see you on the other side.
See you on the other side, brother. Oh. All right. Good timing. There's a save point right here.
Well, that was freaking interesting.
Oh, tell me about it. All right.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So,
So let's talk.
how's Star Ocean?
Oh, I was, you know that feeling in the center of your chest that you just get when you're having a beautiful time and experience, and it was just so, mm, it was right here the entire time. Like
Yeah?
I could not stop feeling like, a 9-year-old kid in the basement. We're talking like your parents' basement, so the wood paneling
Oh, yeah.
and the shag carpet,
Oh, yeah.
and hooked up to an old CRT TV with like
Oh, yeah, like a really 20-inch
yeah,
CRT. Yeah, that's kind of got a bit of a buzz going on
it's
it.
got
And
the
the
buzz,
static electricity on the front of the
right?
screen
And
if you rub your hands on it.
You have to have the converter to take like from S video to just like, you remember those converters? You screwed onto the back of your TV.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like we're talking like that vibe.
I love it. So you're getting that nostalgia kick.
Oh God, did I ever? It was gorgeous, and like it had a bunch of tropes, but the thing is, those weren't tropes when this game was made, right? This game and games like it created those tropes, right? So like there's an innocence and a joy to it that I just masterclass.
I love it.
I too much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you? What was yours?
Oh man, Trover Saves the Universe. I had no idea this was a Justin Roiland creation.
Justin Roiland joint,
I had no idea. I mean, I saw the game pop up so many times on my Steam feed that I was like, fine, I will buy you because your name is similar to mine. And I never really had any intention of like buying it for any other reason. I was just like, this sounds interesting. It's this weird purple dude. He's got a lightsaber. This could be fun.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
Man, oh man, oh man.
Justin Roiland has the most twisted sense of humor I've ever seen in my life. Okay, there's one part where you go up to a guy and he's like, "Hey, I need some help here. I've got these creatures and they're terrorizing me and I need you to kill them." And so you've been spending all this time killing these creatures, right? And so behind him, there's these creatures and they're in like a pen.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, cool. So before he's done talking, I'm like, I'll just go kill the creatures, man. Like we're only playing for an hour. I want to get through this thing.
Yeah.
So I kill the creatures, and he's like, "Oh my god, what did you do? You killed my pets. You son of what are you doing?
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Why would you kill my pets?" And I was just like, oh no. Because the ones in the pen were his pets. You were supposed to kill the wild ones that were to the left that you couldn't see yet. And he's like, if you just want to just listen to what I had to say, this is what I would have been able to tell you, and you wouldn't have killed you, murderer. And I was just like, yeah, this is so Justin Roiland.
That's a Justin Roiland joint.
Oh my gosh. And like, it's that every turn, everywhere you turn in the game, it's that. And God, I don't think I've laughed so hard in a game. I bought that other Justin Roiland game that they made, The Shooter.
Oh, yeah.
And I gotta say, I like this more.
Well, the shooter one used a lot of like AI assets.
Yeah, it may have. Yeah.
No, not may have. It did. That was like a thing they did.
Yeah, and I know Justin Roiland kind of got disconnected from the project because he had this whole controversy.
Yeah, there was the domestic violence,
which he ended up later being like acquitted from the charges, and it was all just
and
like
now there's, I believe, sexual assault charges being put out for interference with a minor.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
again, I think that happened in 2023, and nothing's come of it since. So like,
yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of skeezy people out there doing skeezy things all the time.
Absolutely.
And I really hope it's not the people that I love what they create. But, until found guilty, I will assume and presume innocence.
Well, and that's what we're supposed to do.
The whole way that the rules are supposed to work, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I bought High on Life, which was his other creation project he was involved in, and it was okay. It was like
High on Life, that's the one that used AI.
Yeah, High on Life, yeah, and I played it for 56 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't really all that fun, but Trover Saves the Universe, man, it is some of the most interesting choices you have to make.
I heard you burst into laughter many a time.
Dude, I almost died laughing. It was so funny. I don't know. I feel like Trover Saves the Universe is an alternate world in the Rick and Morty universe where Trover's an alien. You're a Charian or something
Yeah.
Chairsidian or something like that. Like you basically are stuck in a chair, and all you have is a game controller, and you control Trover, and Trover goes to a waypoint. You teleport to the waypoint, and then you control him. And so you're basically like an alien that's chair-bound, and you're controlling Trover. It's the weirdest thing. And he powers up by basically collecting these weird green power baby things that are just these green alien, little baby cute green alien things. And then when you lose hit points, you have to get the red baby power aliens, and they fill you up. Yeah, it's weird. It has got to be one of the weirdest games I've ever played. Like at one point, you have to choose between killing this really annoying character and killing this other character who's like super morally questionable. You know, you have to like agree. So you're talking to Trover, and he's like, so which one of these guys do you want to kill? You want to kill the one in the that's really annoying, and you know, maybe we'll kill Mr. Pop-Up? And you're like, yeah, okay, sure, let's kill him. He's annoying. And it's like, and then he's like, yeah, I agree with you. I hate that guy. He's really stupid. We should kill that guy. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Sure, yes. So you select yes again, and he's like, oh, but this other guy is like, he eats like babies. He eats like newborn babies. Maybe we should kill him. And you're just like, what the heck?
Come on, man, let's go.
And then so then you're like, okay, cool, fine, we'll kill the guy that eats the babies. And then you're like, and then so of course me being like, I understand the twisted humor in this game. So I agreed to kill the guy that eats the babies, and then I went and killed the other guy anyway. And he's like, hey, well, what are you doing? Well, why are you going this way? I thought we agreed we were going to kill the other guy. What are you doing? When I agree to do something, I like to commit. It's pretty hilarious. I got to say, if you're not a fan of like the Rick and Morty humor, it's probably not for you. And it's dark. There's a lot of swear words. I think in the first 5 minutes of the game, there were like 30, 40 swear words and F-bombs already dropped. It does not hold back. This is not a game I would recommend for children by any means. It's definitely a mature themed game. There's, so far there's no like nudity or anything weird like that, but there's definitely like the Justin Roiland humor.
Yeah.
It's Rick and Morty, but it's like to the nth degree. And I enjoy that. I couldn't stop laughing, like you said. So Star Ocean, tell me about the storyline of Star Ocean. What is the what's the world we're introduced to? Who are the main like the characters you're introduced to, and what is the kind of challenge or the issue that's been brought up in the world?
So Star Ocean, you have your choice of which protagonist you're following. You can be Cloud, who's a junior officer in the Space Force, and he's doing his solo piloting. I think it's an exam, and his ship gets captured in an energy wave, and he gets marooned on a planet that's undeveloped. It's not part of the Federation, it's primitive. And he's reminded by his escape pod that you cannot interfere with the development, right? You can survive, you can attempt to escape, but any major interference will be flagged, and you will be tried as a criminal if you escape the planet. So he's got that on his shoulders, and or you can play as the young girl, Claudia. No, that's not her name. Rena. And her bit is she's meditating in the forest, and she comes across Cloud. And then she gets kidnapped to be forced into marriage.
Wait a minute. Let's cover that moment again. Kidnapped and then forced into marriage.
Yes, and here's the spiel. So the planet we land on is called Expel. And about 3 months ago, a mysterious meteorite crashed into the planet. And since that day, animals have been turning into monstrosities. Natural disasters have been ripping the land apart. And Rena is convinced that Cloud is the hero of legend. Because the hero of legend will appear in a foreign clothing and wielding a sword of light. A laser beam in this case.
Nice.
All right. So she's convinced Cloud's the hero. Cloud obviously is like, no, I'm just a dude. A dude who actually is not supposed to be like messing around. So there's that sort of bit. So the storyline's nothing stellar, right? It's very save the world.
Cloud seems like a common name for these RPGs, does it not?
In this case, it's Cloud. Not like Cloud Strife, but Cloud, like Claudio.
Oh, okay, like Cloud.
Cloud.
Oh, it is Cloud.
It's Cloud.
Oh, his name is Cloud.
Claude.
I see. His name is
Cloud.
Claude.
No.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
That's a fun one.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's very charming in sort of just how retro it is. It's very nostalgic.
I love that.
Yeah, I had a blast.
I love that.
Okay.
So have they introduced like the big evil of the world? Have they
Not
introduced?
yet. Right now, I got it up to Raina's been kidnapped. And because I'm following Raina's storyline, we're escaping from the mansion.
Okay.
If I was following Cloud's storyline, we'd be breaking into the mansion to save Raina.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Nice.
And eventually the story transitions into a seamless. Doesn't matter.
It'll eventually congeal into a nice gelatin.
Jelly. But that opening bit, especially because this was on the Super Nintendo at the time.
Yeah.
And when it was released, they actually the team making the game, it was released on the Super Famicom, and it had a compression chip in it, which allowed it to do things that you couldn't really do on a Super Nintendo up to that point.
Okay.
It was one of the most graphically and technically advanced game on the Super Nintendo.
Okay, cool. Wasn't it on Sega CD as well?
Maybe.
I want to say Star Ocean was on the. I want to say my buddy was playing it on Sega CD to begin with.
It's a possibility.
I could be thinking Secret of Mana.
You might be thinking Secret of Mana. It got a re-release on the PS4, the Vita, and the PS3.
Yeah. I am indeed thinking of Secret of Mana. So yeah, cool.
And then of course this is the remake for the Steam and other platforms.
That's so cool, man.
It's just so it's a nostalgia bomb, and I love it.
You know, it's like I feel like Final Fantasy VI for me was my nostalgia bomb Super Nintendo game.
I apologize. I'm talking Star Ocean. The original was the Super Famicom.
Yes.
Second story was a PlayStation.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I never played Star Ocean on the Super Nintendo. I was always all up on the Final Fantasy. But
Final Fantasy is great. But Star Ocean's cool because of the combat system. You get into combat, and instead of turn-based, you're in control of your character, and you run around and you can fight. Right?
I like that.
So it turns into like a little fighting mini game, if you will, every combat.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, normally with RPGs, I like to kind of know, like with Final Fantasy VII, you knew pretty quick into the game that like who the bad guy was.
Well, yeah.
Like you were given kind of the brief
but there was super layers
cutscene
behind that. Right?
Oh my gosh, there were layers. But you were kind of given the cutscene of like Sephiroth.
Yeah.
You're given that that big bad vibe right away. Final Fantasy VI, you're given that right away. You're introduced to Kefka and the Empire and the Emperor and the big bads there. But yeah, it's I'm intrigued. You'll have to tell me as you play it a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Kind of what the overarching big bad and overall.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Who's the big bad in yours?
So in mine, the big bad is this guy who's called they're called the Abstanians. I'm not really sure why they're called the Abstanians yet.
From stuff?
Apparently because they abstain in partaking in anything in the universe. And one of the Abstanians decided to leave the group. There were 4 of them, and they can tell the future and all this other stuff, but they never get involved because they abstain from getting involved.
It's in the name.
It's in the name. One of the Abstanians decided to leave the group and steal your puppies and shove them into his eye sockets. And that apparently gave him enough power to potentially destroy the universe. And so I don't really understand why, but I mean, with the Justin Roiland game, you just kind of have to go with it.
This is where we are now.
Yeah. So you then have this guy who you have to remote control because you're a Charian or something like that, Chair-Sidian. And so you're stuck sitting in a chair. Super creative. And then
it's kind of meta.
and he's like a walkie-in because he can walk around or whatever, something like that. And so the big bad, we have to hunt him down, find him, and defeat him. And Trover has basically what's the equivalent of a lightsaber, and he's running around, and you're controlling him, fighting bad guys. And the main bad guy keeps making clones of himself, and you got to fight all these little baby clones of him. And they're always making fun of you. And every time you knock them off a cliff, they swear at you, and they tell you, they like, F you, and then they jump off as they fall off the cliff or die, or they're like, you suck, and it's just so Justin Roiland at every possible corner.
Yeah.
But it is hilarious. It's the comedy is great. If you're a gamer that appreciates a little bit of dark humor,
yeah, that's it. It's gotcha.
It's gotcha. Like, I literally couldn't stop laughing because there's this one scene where there's a guy and he's in a chair too, and he's giving you crap because he's like I'm gonna turn you into the authorities because you're the owner of those dogs that are being used to destroy the universe, so you're at fault, right? And so then you attack the guy with Trover. You swing your lightsaber at him, and you hit him a few times, and he kind of goes, he's like, okay. If you stop, I'll let you go to the warp points. Just stop hitting me. And so I'm like, no. So I keep going, and then Trover's like, okay. So we're really committing to this guy. We're gonna kill this guy, right? We're gonna commit murder right now. You're really committing to this, aren't you? And then you could stop, but it's the dark humor of the game. So I keep going, and then he dies, and it's like, we did it. We actually did it. We're murderers. We killed this guy. We better get out of here. It's just, I love some of that dark humor. And there's a lot of like weird, gross poop humor in the game too.
Well, that's a Roland joint, right?
Yeah.
He's not afraid of a good scat.
No. I'm brought back to the Rick and Morty episode where it's like, hey Rick, geez, can we go to Boob World? You promised me we could go to Boob World. I've been saving up coupons.
That's like an overarching theme, the Boob World trip.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty funny that that carries into a video game with the game mechanics that it has so well, and that the writing and the comedy. The game itself, the mechanics are pretty straightforward. You control Trover. You have to try to collect all the little green baby aliens in each level. You have to get an objective completed. Like the one is you have to go destroy a guy's house. The one is you have to go and chat with the Abstanians. And it just kind of each level has an objective, but there's a little humor spattered into each little area. And so, like, I'm in an area now. I got to get into a castle, and there's guys up on there that are like, you aren't going to be able to get into this castle. There's walls everywhere, and there's collision detection on the walls, so you can't just jump over them. And it's pretty funny. Yeah. So ratings.
Time for ratings. Let's go. Me, who does this?
Let's see what you think about graphics and art in Star Ocean Second Story.
Sure. So Star Ocean Second Story did a really neat thing, because if they had just done, a pure port, it wouldn't have aged well. It wouldn't have been good, right? So what they did is they took all the background and they brought them to full 3D, and they're beautiful and they're hand painted and they look gorgeous.
Yeah, you showed me. It looks really great.
And your character is still a 2D sprite, but you're moving within this 3D world. And the way they did it and the way they managed it is so charming, and just it's how you remember playing a Super Nintendo game.
Yeah.
Right? It's how you remember it. It's not the reality of it.
Yeah.
It's how you remember it. And just how do you remember that first time you hit the skyship map on FF6?
Oh yeah.
And in your head,
the whole world opened up to you when you got the airship. Yeah.
In reality, it's a really muddy, pixelated mess.
Oh yeah.
It's horrible.
Oh, for sure.
But
it's funny because in my head, when I look at the characters, I see like the artwork for the characters.
Yeah, right?
Not the sprites.
Exactly.
But then when you play the game, you're like, oh yeah, these are just crappy sprites. My brain kind of filled in all the other details,
Yeah, so it was just so cool that they did that, and that it captured that essence, that memory.
I love that.
Right? So I'm giving it quite a high mark for this.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Awesome.
Right? And I'm giving it an 8 for a lot of reasons, but the biggest reason is because it managed to do it. It managed to capture the memory rather than the reality. And that is just, woof, that is so cool.
Yeah, one of the things that irks me the most about like the Final Fantasy remakes is it's like part 1 to be continued.
Yeah,
and you're just like,
come
oh,
on.
man. So like, yeah, if you're going to remaster a game or re-release a game, it should... If you're going to tweak with it, it should be done in an interesting way. I'm actually really excited to play the Final Fantasy VI remake.
Oh,
I haven't played that yet.
it's the remaster.
Yeah, the remaster.
Yeah, it's really good. I've played it. It's
Yeah,
really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been trying to replay through Final Fantasy VI for a while now, but the remaster, I want a fully 3D Final Fantasy VI. I want Final Fantasy VI to get like the Final Fantasy 15 treatment, I want it to look crisp. I want an Unreal Engine Final Fantasy VI.
Let's do it.
Cool. So graphics and art are awesome. 8 out of 10. What about music and audio? JRPGs are known for their music.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And in this case, the soundtrack is so evocative. It's really, really beautiful. Like I had it in the back of my head the entire time. The battle music playing, the overworld music playing, the unique music that plays when a special character is on screen or you're in a special location. Like it was all there and it all anchored everything. Like you were here. And this was what was happening, and it was really lovely, and I loved it quite a bit actually.
Is it kind of typical JRPG style music?
Yeah, strings and woodwinds.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
With the occasional like bum 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 bum.
Yeah,
that the battle music.
You gotta throw in the big heavy drums.
Yeah.
Boom boom boom.
Yeah. So it was nice, and I'm not gonna throw shade at the composer. They did an amazing job.
Cool.
Especially considering roughly how limited the PS1 era soundtrack library could be.
Definitely.
I mean, leaps and bounds over what the Super Nintendo or the Nintendo was capable of. But nevertheless, limited comparatively speaking. So they did an amazing job, and I adored it. I'm going to go ahead and give that a 7.
Okay, cool.
Like, nothing was outrageously memorable.
Sure.
But it was really good.
Fair enough. That leaves us next on gameplay. Tell me about the gameplay style.
So gameplay-wise is a standard RPG fare. You have your overworld map that you're moving around in, and then you have the unique battle sequences.
Character menus.
Inventory management. What I really specifically like about the Star Ocean series, and what this one, I guess, really kind of slammed, is you have XP, BP, SP. And XP is, of course, your character level. And BP are battle points, and you can use your BP to enhance skills.
Nice.
And then I didn't quite get far enough to unlock SP, but if it follows along, SP unlocks specific crafting and adventure skills.
Okay, cool.
So you can use BP to...
Skill points.
Yeah, you can use battle points to upgrade like your magic attack, or you can unlock a special ability that once in a battle, you'll randomly get a major attack boost, right?
Nice.
And you can level that up so it happens more often, right?
Very nice.
And so that's cool. But SP things are like alchemy, so you can start making your own potions.
Health potions, yeah.
Mining, so you can go to nodes in the world and mine resources, right? So there's really cool stuff, and you get BP and SP and XP every battle. So if you really grind it out, you can get everything. And I love a grind. Well, I don't love a grind, but I love a chase. I love a good chase grind.
I love it, yeah.
So it's really cool. And earlier during the gameplay, I mentioned a mechanic that I was really impressed by.
Yeah.
And it's in the battle, for every enemy you defeat or for every enemy you do like a really crazy hit on, they drop an orb.
Okay.
And if you collect enough, and these orbs can carry over battle to battle to battle. And as you fill up the orb meter, you unlock bonuses. So
Nice.
The first orb, you gain 25% attack, right? Cool. At the second level, well, now you're faster. At the third level, you regenerate HP and TP after every battle.
Nice.
And as you gain more and more, so there's a reward to fighting and fighting well beyond just the XP that you would normally get, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it was really cool. It made me, instead of, like, a lot of JRPGs, the problem is, like, oh, I have to grind. Right? Let's see how high I can get. Let's see what, like, it was cool. It really elevated the experience for me.
Nice.
Yeah, so gameplay, right?
Yeah.
Gameplay, I'm going to give this a solid 9.
9?
Like, it executed the classic JRPG experience. It executed it very well. And it added enough twists to make it extremely interesting, and I can see why every RPG that followed used these systems.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm gonna guess then that your fun is pretty high.
My fun was a 10.
Okay.
Like I'm like for a 0-hour game, and I've never played Star Ocean Second Story. I played Till the End of Time and Faith and Faithlessness and
Well, you were only into it for like 10 minutes and you were like, okay, I'm installing this when I'm getting home.
yeah, exactly. Like it was so solid.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm definitely installing it when getting home and losing
The
way too many hours.
Losing like 60 hours into the storyline and the plot.
Way too many hours.
You know, it's funny. You showed me the graphic style, and I've gone to a couple different things at the convention center here in the city. And last time I went, there was a video game development wing in the kind of as part of the convention. And there were a lot of kind of indie developers who I noticed were using kind of the same art style that you showed me for Star Ocean. And I do think that's a pretty popular art style where you kind of have like almost a 3D background and an environment with the 2D sprites. And you know, I got to say, I kind of like it. I feel like it would definitely simplify the development process because animating 3D models is a pain.
It's a pain.
It's a pain unless you're really skilled at it, and then it's probably like, you know, riding a bike. But I suck at it, so it's a pain.
It's still a pain when you're good at it.
So that's pretty cool, man. So your general rating is 8.5. So you have given Star Ocean Second Story an 8.5.
You know what? That is a very good rating.
So the basement faults or catapult?
Absolutely into that catapult. It's up there, man. Just love it.
All right, so go play yourself some Star Ocean Second Story. If you're into JRPGs, it's beautifully executed.
Even if you're not into JRPGs and you're like interested, like you've never played one, and like, I wonder what they're like. This is an amazing entry point.
Cool, man.
Yeah,
I'm glad you had fun.
Like I said, that feeling in your chest, I couldn't get rid of it. How about you, man? Let's talk about Trover.
Trover saves the universe. So, this is one of the first games that one of the first group of games that have kind of pushed my hand into using a controller. It took us like 34 or 35 episodes for me to actually get to setting up a controller. So I have a Nintendo Switch. Got 2 Nintendo Switches. I've got these Nintendo Switch kind of Pro controllers. They're like the full-sized, controller. They're actually really nice. I kind of like using them. They're nice to use. They're large. And I don't get hand cramps because, my goodness, the little controllers that come with the Switch,
the Joy-Cons,
they're for like 5-year-olds.
Well, yeah. It's designed for children.
Yeah, like you can't use the Joy-Cons, and to play that thing holding it, holding the screen and holding the Joy-Cons, it's not comfortable and it hurts my wrists, my hands, everything else. So I've been a long time like keyboard mouse player, and I was like, no, I am hardcore. I will only ever play with keyboard and mouse. I sneeze and throw and I flick my nose at your game controllers. And, the fact is, I enjoyed playing this with the controller. And it makes sense because your little chair guy, the little alien that you are, is holding a controller. And so when you push buttons on your controller, it kind of pushes buttons on his controller. And they're not perfectly aligned, but it's like...
It's enough to make you like, oh.
Yeah, and the game has a VR mode, which I'm definitely going to try, which basically would be you're the VR guy in the chair, which is cool because it's a VR game meant to be played in a chair, which I'm all for. I normally play stand-up VR games. Mm-hmm. But in VR, I imagine this would be a really freaking cool game to play in VR. And I'm definitely going to try it because you literally are the character in the chair. Mm-hmm. And your perspective is you in a chair with a controller. So you see your hands holding the controller, pressing the buttons. So that it's going to be kind of really like almost meta to be playing that in VR. And I think the game's overall kind of aesthetic would lend itself well to VR because you're basically just, you're able to raise where you sit in the game. You can kind of like pop the chair up or down to kind of change your perspective so that you can see different things or see farther. So that's kind of perfect for something like VR where you're just moving a character around a map from a certain perspective, right? Yeah, graphics and art. The game's graphics are pretty straightforward. It's a 3D world.
Yeah, nothing looked outrageously detailed.
No, the graphics weren't spectacularly detailed in any way. The character models were very simplified. It was like something taken from a Rick and Morty episode, turned into 3D, and then made into a game. Mm. And so the graphics themselves weren't really phenomenal. The art wasn't really phenomenal. But what I liked about it was the way that the layouts of the levels were kind of laid out. So it was great use of the 3D space. So yeah, simple character models, simple 3D things. The
But well executed.
Yeah, it was very well executed. Yeah, for such a simplistic looking game, the 3D models, instead of having like a fully formed mouth, just had like your head is just a sphere and the mouth is like just a 2D kind of pasted on texture, and it just kind of moves, like switching between textures, so there's no real animation at a 3D level. I really appreciate what they like how they built this game to look cheap, but be extremely well executed. So overall, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 for graphics and art.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just in its execution. It was exactly the right mix what you would want to do in a game of this style. And so while it wasn't anything like super spectacular or amazing, it definitely good, and it fits the game quite well.
That's awesome.
Music and audio, God, I don't think there's music. Nothing stands out, really. There's a lot of dialogue. Like, it's almost like infinite dialogue because Trover's constantly talking to you and giving you verbal feedback.
Yeah.
And every character is voiced. The bad guys are voiced. Everybody is voiced by Justin Roiland so far. Like, every single character, which is probably what I'm going to do in my game, is voice most of the characters. I'll probably have like 30 different vocal additions of different characters that I play in my own game once I do it. So I kind of appreciate that. I liked the banter and the back and forth. It's Justin Roiland, so some of it got a little annoying, to be honest.
I'm not gonna lie to you. You either like his voice acting or you don't, and I do not like his.
Yeah, so Trover's basically Morty. I
find all of his characters are the same.
Yeah, the bad guys are basically all Rick.
Yeah.
Like, they all sound like Rick. And there's a couple variations to it, but it's all kind of somewhere between Rick and Morty. And that's kind of a Justin Roiland thing. However, the execution of the audio, I appreciate. I feel like the banter and the little side jokes and the constant things going on is interesting. And it makes the world feel interesting, and it makes it feel like you're in a Rick and Morty episode, frankly. And so I'll give music and audio like a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, fair.
I think that I don't have any constructive feedback on how to make it better than a 6.5 out of 10. It did what it needed to for the game style that it is. But that gets me to the gameplay. I'm going to give the gameplay a 9 out of 10. I really love the innovative gameplay that it is, and people would be like, what are you talking about? This game is trash. Maybe,
but I had fun.
But my opinion is that taking this idea of you're chairbound and you're needing to remote control this other character, and you're kind of like teaming up, like, in a way. It feels like you're teaming up with this character in the game, and it gives the character, like, almost brings the character to life in that sense of like, yeah, you're playing this character, but the character has its own personality and its own existence and its own opinions, and that's crazy. For me to be like, I'm playing this character, I'm moving this character around, my character is nonverbal and has no ability to speak. I can like nod yes or no, basically.
Yeah.
But to have that where I have this partner character that I'm partnering with that has this whole life of their own that they've convinced you that this character had before you met them, as well as the personality and the conversations that you have while you're playing, I think it's great. I think the gameplay aspect of this game is very cool. I don't think I've never seen a game or never played a game that's been implemented in this way.
Right.
Where you have some limitations to your top down. You have to get Trover to like a waypoint to teleport you to the next waypoint to change your perspective or your vantage point of the map. Frankly, I think it's a very intelligent gameplay, and very kind of unique, and I like it for that, and that's why I gave it a 9 out of 10. And for the fun, I'm gonna have to give it a 10 out of 10.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, like
wow.
it's
Wow. Soft Raider, everybody. Soft.
Hey.
Hey.
I don't like that. Why you gotta rate me soft? Yeah.
What you gotta say?
I bet you.
I'm hard. I'm like a rock.
I'm hard for this game, Aaron. I'm super crazy for this game. It's a 10 out of 10.
You don't understand.
Come on, it's a 10 out of 10, Morty. We got to save your parents. Yeah, no. No, but honestly, I had a lot of fun playing it, and just because if dark humor and poop humor is not your style, this game's not gonna be fun for you. Just skip it. But I like games that are just like, you know what, this game is we made this for adults. It's funny, it's mature humor, it's ridiculous, and it got me laughing. I think I laughed harder.
You did burst out laughing quite a bit.
I literally had uncontrollable laughter at one point, and it was because of the fact that the game has commentary on my actions. And the fact that I take ridiculous actions and the game calls me out.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that meta aspect of playing the game. How it's your actions matter in the way that when they developed the game, they were like, if the player does this, we're going to say this. If the player does that, we're going to do this. And that there's actually like you're live playing into the voice acting of the game.
Yeah, which is lovely.
Like somebody at some point was like, the player's going to do this, and we're going to then interact with the player this way.
A reaction to that. Yeah.
So it feels like the voice acting is there for you.
Mm.
It's not there to tell a story. It's not there to have you experience it. It's there for you to live it.
It's reacting to you as you play. So
yeah. And so it's extremely immersive in that way. And I can only imagine how insane playing this game in VR would be. So I had a 10 out of 10 for fun. I feel like if I played this in VR, it'd be an 11 out of 10. And I know we don't allow 11 out of 10s, but...
We do not... there's no such thing as a perfect game.
No, if it's an out of 10, if it's an out of 10, you can't go over 10, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I overall, the general rating, the game is an 8.1. I think that's fair. If I were to say Final Fantasy VI for me is a 10 out of 10 game, and a more perfect game doesn't exist in my mind, change my mind. And again, that's like childhood bias. But yeah, this is an 8.1 out of 10. Sounds good. I think this is a game that if you are an adult, you're over the age, I'd say if you're over the age of 16, and your parents are cool with you hearing a game that swears a lot and makes a lot of poop humor.
No, or if your parents don't care.
Yeah, or if they don't care and you're like 12 and you're playing Call of Duty and just murdering guys all over the place. Yeah. Honestly, this is a catapult. Trover Saves the Universe. Who would have thought that a random game that I bought just for shiggles
was such a
it's freaking great.
Yeah, and that's sort of the beauty of the 0 hour format, like, man, look what we could have been playing instead of like reinstalling Age of Empires 3 for the 18th time.
Yeah, but seriously, how many games do you have that you're at 0 hours? Because I've got like
you know what? I have less than I thought I did, and more importantly, the ones that are at 0, I just repurchased on Steam. And I've played it on other platforms.
Yeah, I've got at least 40 games at 0 hours that I've never played. So yeah, I mean, there's that.
Was that Full Throttle on a 0 hour playthrough?
Yeah, I bought it on a Steam sale, and I haven't played it yet.
Full Throttle. That's one of the heights of the LucasArts adventure game era.
I mean, I've played Full Throttle full through at least 3 times in my life.
Full Throttle.
But I had to buy it again on Steam because I need to have that piece of my nostalgic childhood.
I have it on Good Old Games. This is where I have my version.
I feel like as an adult, I have to own all of my favorite games from being a child.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only one that I haven't been able to find a port for is like Super Metroid. I think that's still only available on the Switch if you're playing on the SNES, Nintendo Online, blah, blah.
Unfortunately, Super Metroid. And most Nintendo games are only available on the platforms.
Yar, I certainly don't have a ROM for it.
Yar.
Yar, yar, shiver me timbers.
Well, thank you all for joining us today. We had a blast, and we hope you did too.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. So I highly recommend Trover Saves the Universe.
And I cannot sing Star Ocean Second Story R's praises enough.
Yeah, so get out there. Play some of those games. Yeah. Give some of those games that you have bought but never played. Go give those games some love.
Hop on our Discord. Let us know. We're always excited to interact with you guys. So, in closing, good luck.
Have fun.
Don't die.
Don't die?
Don't die.
Yeah, don't die.
Don't die.
Don't die.
Don't die.
Just don't do it. Just live forever.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And
Cool.
you can't play games when you're dead, right?
You can't play games when you're dead. I mean, unless
No, unless
unless there's an afterlife, in which case that is like, everyone gets to choose their afterlife,
God,
and then it's just like I'm just in gamer heaven.
Yeah, but what if you go to gamer hell?
Ooh, where you're stuck playing ET for for infinity.
Yeah, and every time you're in, and the deal is once you beat it, you get to go home. But every time you're about to beat it, the cartridge corrupts.
Oh no. Yeah, that'd be really bad.
Anyway.
All right. Well, we're out of here.
We're out of here. Goodbye,
Catch you in the
guys.
next one. Bye.
Ciao. Ushta. I had a blast. I'm glad we landed on 0.
And that's our time, and the end of our episode.
But don't feel sad it's over. Be glad it happened. From the two of us in the basement, thanks for tuning in.
Join us next time.
And feel free to send us any feedback on our socials or send us a direct email at bfcpcontact@gmail.com.
And if you're really interested in what we're doing, join us on Patreon, where we will have loads of behind-the-scenes stuff and uncut takes as more episodes are released. Patreon.com/basements, faults, and catapults.
We're always excited to hear from you because we love engagement. We look forward to our next catapult launch and hope you can join us for the ensuing chaos.
Good luck.
See you next time.